Hi, today's video has to do with types of forces and types of motion and is just a very brief introduction to both. Some of your other assignments will get into more detail on them. I want to remind you to take your Cornell notes and to stop this or pause it whenever you need to write. Forces are pushes or pulls, as you already know. And we have two main groups of forces. We have contact forces and we have non-contact forces. Contact forces occur when one object is touching another to cause the push or the pull. And we have some examples of contact forces: friction, buoyant force, which you will learn about later, or actually, someone or something actually pushing or pulling on another object. We also have non-contact forces, which is a force that one object can apply to another without touching it. And the main non-contact force that we will be talking about will be gravity. Forces affect motion, and they can affect motion in a number of different ways. They can make them start or stop moving. They can make objects move faster or slower, and they can make them change direction. More than one force can act on an object at a time. In fact, we have multiple forces acting on us all the time. Now let's move on to types of motion. There are four main types of motion that we will be talking about. While you watch this portion of the video, please make sure that you have a description of the type of motion, the name of the force that's responsible for that type of motion, and some examples of objects that show or exhibit that type of motion. Please do try to come up with additional examples that are not shown in the video. Let's start with straight line motion. Straight line motion is when an object moves in a straight path, and this is caused by any type of push or pull. Let's go with some examples. One example would be the boy pulling the wagon and moving it in a straight line. Another would be someone running in a straight path or pushing a shopping cart in a straight path. You can also have straight line motion moving downward or upward as long as the object is traveling in a straight path. We also have projectile motion, and this is when an object travels in a curved path toward the surface or the ground, and it's caused by gravity pulling the object down. Let's look at some examples of projectile motion. Shooting an arrow at a target, you'll notice that you have a curved motion here. If I look, you have the cursor here, you have a curved motion that is pulling the arrow down toward the ground. That's why when you are doing archery, you have to aim a little above the target in order to hit the bullseye. As the arrow flies through the air, gravity is working on it and is pulling it toward the ground, so it gives it a curved path. Another example would be fireworks or water fountains, some water fountains, or pretty much throwing any type of ball. We have the force of gravity that pulls it down toward the ground, and we have again a curved path right here. Circular motion is when an object moves in a circular path, and there's a particular force that keeps objects moving in the circular direction, and it is called centripetal force. Not centrifugal, centripetal. And there is a difference between the two. And centripetal force pulls the object toward the center of the circle. That's the direction of the force for centripetal force. Now, this centripetal force can come from a variety of sources. Sometimes it can be caused by gravity, for example, the moon revolving around the earth, or it can be caused by another push or pull toward the center. Let's look at some examples. The girl in the top left picture is swinging a yo-yo in a circle, and you can see that the source of centripetal force for the yo-yo is the actual string, and that string is pulling the yo-yo toward the center, while she is having a force that's causing the yo-yo to move actually move forward. And the combination of the forward motion and the inward motion of the string causes it to go in a circle. Let's look at on the right, we have a Ferris wheel, and the source there of the centripetal force is the axle of the wheel. We have the two boys, one boy swinging another boy around in a circle, and think about it. What would be the source of the centripetal force here? It would be the arms of the larger boy that's providing the pull inward for the other boy. And then we have any kind of a satellite that orbits Earth. Those travel in a circular path, and so they have circular motion. And the source of that type of circular motion, of that type of centripetal force, would be gravity. The last type of motion is vibrational motion, and it's when objects move in a back and forth motion, and it is caused by a push or a pull. Some examples of vibrational motion would be striking a tuning fork, like the top left picture shows. And on the right hand side, we have plucking a guitar string. That would be vibrational motion because the string moves back and forth. On the bottom left hand corner, we have a grandfather clock, and down in the belly of it, I don't know what it's really called, but I'm going to call it the belly, you see a pendulum that swings back and forth, and that pendulum, since it's going in a back and forth motion, it shows vibrational motion, as well as this bobblehead. When you push the bobblehead's head, it will start moving back and forth as vibrational motion. All right, that's the end of this video. See you later.